Hey guys, Ken Smith Fishing, week 467 of Stay at Home. It's Groundhog Day, man. Off topic again. So I got two things I want to talk to you about this week, and these are actually probably more on topic than off topic. The first one is my buddy O'Connor, the Aggie, finally bought a new trolling motor. He had a long history of only being willing to run motor guide over some slight he received years ago at a service trailer. And because of that, he would not run a good trolling motor. The newer technology trolling motor, how about that? Let's be fair. So when Lowrance came out with the Ghost, he got really excited. He cut a bunch of yards or whatever he does for a living and saved up some money and bought him a Ghost. And he's been touting how awesome this thing is. And honestly, I've been curious about it. And I've been curious about the Garmin trolling motor as well. And as you guys know, I'm a Minn Kota Humminbird guy. But I'm open, and part of the thing about my channel is I'll try anything and talk about anything. So there's probably several things we should look at. Battery longevity, how easy they are to maneuver, how accurate their spot locks are. But the easiest thing to measure is let's line them up and do a drag race. So we were both on the water Sunday, and Moon Pie was out there with Mr. Burton, and we lined them up, and we did a little boat drag race. So here you go. Straight up, old batteries pretty much across the board in all of our boats, so none of these are brand new. A Lowrance Ghost versus a Minn Kota Ultrex. 36 volts all the way through. Here we go, guys. All right, here's what we're going to do. So, Brian... This is Brian O'Connor, who y'all saw from Off Topic, also known as Brian Exotic.
Tonight on Lake Outlaws, it's Houston versus Dallas.
Brian has the new, wait, you got a trolling motor on there? Oh, there it is, it's the Ghost.
Can't hardly see it.
So this is not scientific because my batteries are 2 years old and I just had to replace one. Now, Brian's real meticulous about his stuff, but Brian is so cheap, he's got a dollar bill in his wallet from where he mowed a yard in '71 when he was a little kid. So his batteries are somewhere between 2 and 12 years old. And then we're gonna mix Moon Pie and Burton over there, who are hopefully gonna put their shirts on, because right now it's a little scary looking. We're gonna mix them in because Moon Pie probably has new batteries, and he's probably polished his batteries and armor-alled everything. So his boat's gonna be in it. Now there's two guys in that boat. They're two little skinny guys though. So we've got a buoy out yonder somewhere. There's a buoy out there, and we're gonna line them up, and we're gonna see which is faster: a 20-foot Ranger with a Ghost, a 21-foot Ranger with an Ultrex, or a 21-foot Triton with an Ultrex. We're gonna power down and see who wins this.
It stays all the time. It doesn't move anywhere in there.
All right, turn her around.
Ready to go set.
Where's our buoy?
Right there. Now, does it instant power? Does it like momentary?
It's slow, yeah.
Delay?
Momentary.
I remember when those motor guys, Beast trolling motor first came out. When you get to Lonnie Stanley had one on a skeeter. He about chunked me out 4 or 5 times. Hey, you know what you can clean your jack plate with too, Brian?
What's that?
WD-40.
Really?
Spray it, wipe it on there, it'll shine like brand new.
Huh.
Oh, he'll be doing that this evening.
Oh yeah.
May stop on the way back.
Well, I got 52 gallons of gas and 26 gallons of water.
Sun's in my eyes, I'll step on the rock too.
How far is that?
There it is.
100 yards?
Yeah, I'd say.
Reckon ought to get this guy in the metal boat over here.
Might be embarrassing.
They win.
Everybody good?
You're drifting forward, man. What the hell?
Who, me?
Yeah, you cheater.
What'd you turn first? All right.
On
Buddy,
3.
high.
Ready?
Let's do it. Go.
1, 2, 3. You'd already cheated. I
Yeah.
saw you were cheating too. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, the Lowrance jumped out there and thought, oh, he's going to run off and leave us, Moon Pie.
You know,
sorry, this has been prayer.
Well, you know, the size he is, he probably only got 6 gallons of gas.
Grab that power pole and help pull Chris in behind him and grab a little bit. There, you're on, man. How fast are you running?
I don't know. What's that to say?
How fast are you running?
7.4. Oh, that's good.
4.7 miles an hour.
How fast?
6.7 miles. The good thing is it's out back.
Huh?
I'm impressed with the Ghost. Now, the problem is Brian will go real fast and got nowhere to catch him. But don't race him to your spot now. If he knows where you're fishing, he's going to beat you to it.
All right, so needless to say, that was impressive. And he didn't just inch out in front of us. He ran off from us. So that's impressive. I'm certainly not going to run out and buy a Lowrance Ghost and leave my Ultrex, because my Ultrex has been so dependable. I do like the line. I don't like the head on it. It looks like a shoebox to me, but I like how the cables are real clean coming out of it. Certainly impressed with the power of it. Don't know how it's going to be on batteries, and don't know how it is to run it. The bracket seems really solid, so all in all, if I was going to grade it, I'd give it an A+. I mean, what the heck? It seems like a really good motor. I'll find us a Garmin here in the next couple of weeks when we're down there, and we'll try to race a Garmin versus Lowrance Ghost and see how those compare against each other. So there you go. That was our little drag race, and hey, when I get my butt whipped, I'll admit I got my butt whipped, and we got our butt whipped on the speed test there. So there you go. The second thing I wanted to talk about this week is things you can do off the water that can improve your fishing skills. And one of the things I see quite a bit are young guys who are flipping, and they'll flip that bait in there, and when they bring it back, they'll catch it, and they'll flip it back in there again. And one of the things I see people doing, I saw a lady doing it the other day, when they're learning to flip, the tendency is to, when you go to flip, to throw that bait. And the way to fix that is to not catch that bait. Now, you'll see me on very rare occasions when I'm really trying to make a specific pitch, I'll catch that bait and flip it in there. But I've gotten really accurate, and I've actually gotten accurate left-handed. So I'm a right-handed guy, but you guys will notice I flip left-handed. And I do that because I reel right-handed, and that way I never have to turn, I hope this little rod's showing you, I never have to turn loose of that reel handle when I put it back in there. If a fish bites it immediately, I'm set up to go ahead and hit that fish. So I would learn to flip left-handed if I were you, and I think I've told this story in the past. There used to be a club here in Dallas called the Bass Club, and it was a nightclub. It was really a dart bar is what it was, owned by a guy named, I want to say Jack Baker. I may get that wrong. But it's where most of the bass clubs had their weekly or their monthly meetings. And one of the things we would do, there was always flipping rods laying around. We would have competitions for flipping under stuff and around stuff and how many in a row in a bucket. And one of the things we started doing was fast. How fast could you put it in the bucket, get it out, put it in the bucket, get it out? And a guy named Jackie J. Rowe whipped my butt one day because he was flipping left-handed, and I would flip right-handed, reel it up, switch over, flip right-handed, reel it up. And he was just steady doing it left-handed. And I thought, that's going to make me a better fisherman to learn how to flip left-handed. So I put this little piece right here together for you. Again, I would learn to flip left-handed, or I would learn to flip with the hand that your reel handle's not in. So if you actually do one of those left-handed reel things like you would on a spinning pole, you'd want to flip right-handed. But that's something that will improve. But certainly one of the things I would suggest to you is quit catching that bait. You'll get a better rhythm, and you'll be much quicker at making presentations. Because remember, if I make 100 presentations in an hour, and I make more than that obviously, and you only make 95, I'm getting 5% more fishing time than you are. There's no other way to look at that. And this is all about percentages. So learn to be efficient with your flipping, and learn how to hit your targets, which is something you can practice at home real easy with a 10 bucket in the backyard. If you do that, make sure you stand up off the ground a little bit, because remember, you're always up off the ground in a boat. Stand on a little step stool or whatever, so that you've got kind of that same angle you're flipping out of a boat to whatever your target is. And practice not catching that bait, and I hope that helps. So here's my little piece I put together for you. So I see a lot of young guys on the water,
And I see a technique issue that I think they need to work on for a couple of reasons. Number one, just speed, but also when you're getting gas or whatever else on your hands, sunscreen, you don't want to be touching your bait all the time. So I've seen a lot of young guys on the water, and I'm seeing them flipping. And what I see is something that this is something you can work on at home. We're all kind of stuck at home right now if you're not around the lake. And that is when they're pitching, they'll make a pitch. They'll fish it, they'll reel it back in. Before they can make another pitch, they catch that bait, and then they make that next pitch. Now granted, you can be super accurate doing that, but what I'll tell you is from a speed standpoint, not just a speed standpoint, but also you don't want to keep touching that bait. You'll get way better off when you can just work it off that pendulum. So if you watch when I'm pitching, I very seldom touch my bait. So when you're home, just work on that a little bit. Just work on the pendulum. You can go way faster, you can cover. So, I mean, again, we talk about numbers all the time, right? If I can make, even if I can only make 10 pitches to your every 9, so I'm making 10% more pitches, I'm getting a couple of hundred more presentations every day than you are, and that just drives up the chances that I'm going to get more bites and catch more fish than you are. So when you're working on your flipping around the house, don't work on holding it. Just work on reeling it up, pendling, put it right back in your spot, throw your line to it, and move on down the road. You don't need to be touching that bait. You need to be making that pitch as quick as you can every single time.
Okay, I've already said it, but I hope that helps. And we'll have more fishing. We're going to get back down there early next week. We're not going to fish over the weekend, but we'll get some fishing up for you guys sometime early next week. And thanks for tuning in, and we'll see y'all soon. Thanks, guys.